Hello, everyone. Greetings. This is Cindy Drozda here. And this is going to be a fun session. I'm glad you all showed up. Uh, I want to just start off by telling you what I'm going to do today. Um, this piece was done a collaboration. It was started between Emma Cook and Todd and mostly finished up by me. I didn't really do much on the first day. But we actually have here with us, let's see if I can do this. All three of us, yay! So more about everybody else later. Um, I am going to be using vacuum and doing the final finishing and sanding or sanding and finishing on this piece today. And then it's going to be taken to SWAT. Um, so I know the title is sanding and finishing, but what it really is, and it was too long for the title bar, was really it's sanding and finishing this piece, which was started as a demo and it needs remounting. So we're going to do some remounting, things that wouldn't really be done if this was the first go around on this piece. So yeah, so who's here to watch today? This is cool. I just love it. We've got people from all over the place. And we do have Emma. Here's our good friend David Perez and Chuck from Texas. We're going to see Chuck in a couple of days. I think less than a week now. And Jim is here. And Barbara's in Florida. I bet it's humid there. Stan, I just talked to on the email a minute ago. That's great. Philip from across the ditch there. Nice to see y'all here. And Ladon from Toronto. Yes, how many other Canadians do we have here? Several, I bet. Jean wants to know, will it be recorded? Yes, it will. It'll be staying on YouTube and on StreamYard. Jennifer's here, and Todd, and lots of people I love to see. Oh, another across the big pond one. Oh, and Connie from New Zealand. Wow, I'm glad you could show up. I know. Let's see, what time is it in New Zealand? It's 8 a.m. tomorrow, I believe. Or is it 6 a.m.? I can't remember. Anyhow, oh, Paul, great to have you here, Paul. Always, Paul's the guy who couple days. Yeah, cool. Anyway, so indeed, it's a great way to kick off the weekend. And so now, what just happened to me? Did I push some untoward buttons here, or what? Does anybody know? We're gonna check. Oh, there we go. What happened? What is happening? Can you guys all see me? Because I'm looking like my video is gone. Wi-Fi glitch. No, I'm not on Wi-Fi. It's not a, I don't know what kind of glitch it is here, but we're going to try this glitch. You see me, Martin says. You see me? But why don't I see me? I guess is the big question. I hate these tech glitches. Let's see what happens when we, oh, what happened there? I don't know. There I am again. How about this is supposed to be everybody. Did you guys take yourselves out? Did I take you out? I do not know. I do not know.
No,
But
I
it
think
looks like we're
everything's good. I think, Cindy, it was maybe a bandwidth issue.
now it's gone again. Not a bandwidth issue. It's something to do with StreamYard, because it when I click this anyway, never mind. It looks like we got it. And if I have problems, it has to do with choosing the layout. So when I would choose a different layout, my video disappeared out of the one I'm supposed to be in. But looks like we got something going on here, which is good. Anyway, so I want to start with doing some work on this piece here. And let's talk about what's happening with this piece. It is done on the top side by Emma with some texturing and some Joe Sonia paints, I think, and some dry brushing and some flakes and a little texture and stuff. And so here's what's going on. This is a demo piece. It was done in a big hurry and no sanding was done at the time. So originally, when we were done with it all, I had a chuck tenon on the back. So I chucked it in the lathe and did the finishing. I just did a coat of oil finish here on these bare wood parts. The paint, the whatever these were, I think it was some dry brushing of I don't remember what, and flakes. Emma can tell us. We'll put Emma on here and she can explain it all. So I had it on the chuck to do this, but now I can't do that anymore. So if I want to do any more finishing on this one, now that I've taken the tenon off, I've got vacuum right here. So let's check out what I'm going to do if I want to mount this. Now that there's no tenon, I want to mount it on vacuum, and I've got this vacuum chuck. Now this one is it goes into the Morse taper, and it's made by Rubber Chucky. This is a pre-made vacuum chuck. And oh, KK, this is great. I didn't even notice it, but look at that. My nail polish matches the color that Emma used on the rim. Oh, I didn't even plan that, but this is great. Yeah, so little battery issue here. So what am I going to do here? There's no way to center it up. There's no tailstock hole or anything. So I have to manually set this up turning true. And that's something, you know, when you hear me talking about how great it is to use jam chucks, and we're going to use a jam chuck here in a minute too, which I did on the last session. It's because a jam chuck will center up immediately, automatically, every time you take it off and put it back on. The vacuum, though, it could basically go anywhere on here, and there's no way to know if it's centered up except manually tweaking it. So I'm going to get ready for that. And I've got my robust live center in here. And these things will work on any 3/4 10 live center. Robust, one way, Laguna, Powermatic, maybe some others, maybe Harvey. So this is a Rubber Chucky device here with 3/4 10 threads, and it's some kind of plastic stuff, rubbery stuff, and it'll screw right on. And I could use this to put some pressure up against my part in the lathe here, right? That's great. But what if you are more of a frugal wood turner? That's a Bonnie Klein term, frugal wood turner. She used to do a whole bunch of stuff on that. What if you want to be more frugal and you don't want to go and buy Rubber Chucky stuff, though? I love Rubber Chucky stuff. Here's a nice little trick. You can buy a crutch tip at the hardware store, and this is one of those, but I mounted it on a Rubber Chucky device that goes in the headstock, and I turned it to a shape for something. But you can just use them right off the shelf, and it goes right on your 3/4 10. This is great. So now I have my part in here, and I'm going to bring up the tailstock. Yes, a broke wood turner. Well, broke and frugal are kind of the same thing. Oh, and good one, John. It works with Harvey. Yeah, I think Harvey and Laguna are are somehow the same. All right, so what I'm going to do, I've got this on here. I have no idea how trued up it is. So I'm going to set my tool rest. And I know you can't really see. Where are we? That's better. And turn the piece and see how far out around it is. Oh, it's very far out around, but right here we got close to the tool rest. And on the other side of center, we've got pretty far away. So and there's no vacuum on right now. So I'm going to just loosen my tailstock and shift the piece over. Good point, Todd. A golf ball also works. Golf balls, though, are hard plastic, and I've got a finished surface here inside this bowl. So I don't want something hard. I want something kind of rubbery, and we're just trying to get enough pressure to hold it here for now. Oh, could I put a flat plate on the tailstock and center it across the face? Well, that might get me somewhere, might get me further than I am now, but bear with me. This is going to be fine. We now have its closest, its furthest. I'll loosen up and shift it, and I might be shifting too much, and maybe we're getting closer. That's too close. We'll go back this way a little bit. And we're getting all over the place, aren't we? I think what I need to do is rock it. So maybe that idea of using a flat plate was a really good one. We're getting closer. Now I get a little closer here and on the other side here. And we will, and I need to not push it, but rock it in the hole just a little bit. A large cone, there's nowhere for it'd have to be. Okay, well, good point, David. Let's try something then. This is kind of an ad lib session here. I've got some stuff made by Steve Sinner that just might do exactly what David is suggesting. These things are kind of semi-cones, and we might be able to find one that will go in the opening of the bowl. Not that one, but that one. Let's see if this is better. This is not the frugal wood turner here because these cost a little money, of course. And we'll just see what we get. That was a great idea, David. You know, I have all these tools, but I don't always remember what to use for what. So we'll see if this gets us any perhaps closer to our. Oh, thank you, David. Look at that. Whoa, he's the genius, not me. Anyway, that move it, loosen it and move it and check it as it spins by the tool rest method is a way to get centered up on a vacuum chuck with the tailstock up and no vacuum yet. And then what I'm going to do is turn on the vacuum. So we're going to turn on the vacuum pump and take a look and see what we get for vacuum. Darn, that's really great. That's like 20 inches of vacuum at my altitude. That is phenomenal. So, yeah, this is great. I'll get rid of that. And now I can, I'm not sure why that went away, but so now I'm all centered up and I got vacuum. And what was I on about here anyway? Well, one thing is maybe I want to work on the bowl here. This bowl. And I can take away my tailstock. Boy, am I nervous about that. Let's go back over here. And something I'm going to do just to give myself a tiny bit of insurance is, and this also might help my vacuum job, is I'm going to put a little tape right up against the back side of the bowl. Maybe you can see that a little better over here. See, I got tape up here. And another thing this is doing is sealing up, and it actually didn't give me much more vacuum, maybe 1 inch. So it does give me a little more confidence to now go and take away my tailstock. And if I wanted to do some sanding in this bowl now, or maybe for the finishing, what I'm going to do is just give it a polish with the Abralon pad 4000 grit after I've got all my finish on. But the point I was making about this is these areas here are, let's get some light. Can we get some light? I don't have any light. Huh, all right, never mind the light. That light, anyway. We got more lights around like this one that might help. These areas, I just took a little brush while it was in the lathe and brushed on some of my finish. This being a demo piece, you know, Emma was working really fast, and there's some kind of slopped over paint on the wood. And if I wanted to totally clean that up, I would take some probably 600 grit sandpaper, and we're folding the sandpaper cut edges together, and I will try to get that right in here. Maybe the edge will work. And I could do a little cleanup here and then put another coat of finish on it. Yeah, actually that did some pretty good stuff there. But now I need to put more finish on it. I have a way to do that. Well, what finish am I using anyway? I like an oil finish. Ideally, what we would have done here is do the finishing before all of this coloring and painting. Now, the paint doesn't need a top coat. In fact, it's going to look better without it. But the wood really looked plain. It looked kind of like, you know, wood color, like the backside here, like bare wood. And so I wanted to do something to it and set that this time. So I just painted on a coat of oil finish and left it. And here's the oil finish I used. Let's see. Can I do this? Sorry, we're flailing with the technology here. Here it is. I have a couple of, well, that didn't work. I have a couple of oil type finishes that I like. And this time, what I'm using is this stuff here, Murdoch's Uralkid 500 floor finish. It's made by Sutherland Wells, the same people who make this one. Oh, I've got some power problems here, so never mind the drawings. Um, the the polymerized tung oil is something I often use, but I'm trying this other one now. So uh, that's what I've got here on here on these little bare wood places and on the bowl. Now on the bowl, I applied that oil finish like an oil finish. I put on a coat and I wiped it off and I let it soak in for a bit. And I think this has got 3 coats on it, and I sanded in between with that Joe Sonia or that Abralon pad. So let's take this off the vacuum and get Emma in here because we've got a couple of questions for Emma. And maybe you would like to tell us about the products you used on this. I'll put it back on here so you can refresh your memory if
Yeah,
you can, if you remember.
I'll try.
And there's a question for you from Duncan. What finish do you recommend over the Joe Sonias and the flakes?
So the Joe Sonias, with it being in acrylic, try and stick to acrylic finishes. They don't really react in the UK. There's a couple of people who use melamine lacquers over the top, and they don't seem to react to oils either. But like Cindy says, they don't really need anything. They're quite tougher acrylic paints. But you could put an acrylic lacquer over there. Or Joe Sonia have a range of varnishes. They've got a matte, a satin, and a gloss. So you can, and they're just brush-on polyurethane varnishes. They're excellent. So you can use that. With the flakes, if you've watched any of Cindy's demos, then you will know that really we try and avoid putting anything over the top of them because it will dull them just as it would with gold leaf. There's loads of different varnishes that are for gold leaf that you can try, but I mean, I haven't found anything that works particularly well. I don't know if Cindy's found anything, so we try and I leave them without anything over the top of it.
Well, I've used the Joe Sonia water-based varnish over the top of the flakes.
Yeah.
And they look better without it. You lose a whole lot of that really dramatic color shift. So, if it was me and I've heard Emma say the flakes and pigments are like paint. So they are as durable as paint, which means, if you try to rub them off, they will, but they're not going to just come off on their own, and they don't need the protection. So I would just assume for flakes, not put any protection on there. So that means if I was going to lacquer this whole thing, I've got something I don't want lacquer on, and I've got something else I maybe don't. What is on this? Do you remember, Emma, what's on here?
I think we did black gesso and as the back coat, and then we put, I think it was Joe Sonia iridescent. I think it was the violet iridescent paint that we dry brushed over the top. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so that's Joe Sonia and gesso. So it would be okay with the lacquer.
Yeah.
Wood, I like an oil finish on wood. So really, I could have lacquered this whole thing. And I would have lost something with the flakes. Really, what we should have done is lacquer it first and then do the flakes.
Yeah.
But this was a spur of the moment thing. This was a spur of the moment thing. Emma shows up in the Denver area like I was unaware she was coming, and just happened we were doing a sharing session that Friday, and Emma was willing to change her flight so she could be here for this. So anyway, this was not planned, and we did. Emma got here like an hour before the thing started, and I went over to my wood stash, and we got a cherry board out, and I cut a piece off, and we rounded it up, and that's what she started with. So. And those recordings are still on YouTube if you want to watch them. Anyway, so there we are, and here we are. What we're doing today is cleanup of our demo piece. So we could have done something different. All right, what's going on here now? What do I have to do to fix this little StreamYard glitch? Okay, I can't use the buttons is what. So this is some stuff we can do to fix it up. So then, okay, so now after doing that part, I took the tenon off by using this kind of vacuum chuck. And this is what I call a vacuum assisted jam chuck. It's a face plate with a piece of wood on it. And I sized it. I did this, I think, in my last session, live session. And I sized it to fit this recess. So there's a little hole in it. Because it's a face plate, I put some sealant in between the face plate and the wood. When I put this on the headstock, and I've got my vacuum thingy over here. This is one of those swivel ones that goes in the headstock hole. And then my pump is down underneath me somewhere. There was a question about what kind of filter I have on my pump. Whatever it came with. And I've emptied it maybe once or twice over 20 years, so I'm a bit neglectful. All right, so now I've got my my jam chuck, and this was done a couple weeks ago, and it's not a really great jam chuck anymore, but I'm not going to rely on the jam part. I'm going to turn on my vacuum pump, and here we go. So it's not a lot of vacuum, but it's enough to hold it there. And this is now how I'm going to do today's sanding and finishing. I have the bottom already sanded, and I put 3 coats of finish on it because one of the things I want to do today is I want to show you how I'm going to sign the piece. And I'm going to have to sign all 3 names because I'm leaving in 5 days for SWAT, and we want all 3 names on it. And so they're not really going to be signatures. They're just going to be, what would you call it? Nomenclature, identification, a record. It's not like a signature, scrawl a signature. So that's what it's going to be. Todd, Emma, Cindy, collaboration 2025. But I want to do the rest of this, the sanding, and I want to show you what I'm going to do for that. Now my tailstock here, I no longer want this cone, and I'm just loving this. Thank you so much, David, for that suggestion. It's great. And I'm going to get up on the soapbox for a minute. That kind of stuff is what is so magical about the wood turning community and sessions like this. We all learn stuff from just something I didn't think of, something David did think of. Now everybody knows, try that. And I don't have a link for Steve Sinner's website, but that's where it is. Oh, and Paul's got a suggestion that's a very good one. And I didn't mention this, but it is something I do. The wooden part of the oh, hey, Andrea. Nice to have you here. I hit the wrong button there and got her up there. The jam chuck wood is porous, so the wood's going to be the air is going to suck through the wood. It's not going to make the greatest seal. The thing is that or one of the problems here is that once I create the tenon to fit this recess, I could seal this part, but I've got the fit I want already here. So I could make it better this way by sealing that surface. But usually with the vacuum assisted jam chuck, what happens is I'm cutting on the end of it, so it doesn't get sealed usually. Now I could put some masking tape over it right now if I felt like that. All right, where we were is we've got vacuum. Hopefully you can't hear that. And I want something to put some pressure. So I've got either my rubber chucky or my crutch tip, but I don't want the Steve Center cones because these are hard plastic. Oh, here's something else I did was I put foam on the other side of the Steve Center cone. And that actually, that would be a good possibility. Here is there's foam here, so I could bring up my tailstock this way. Oh, I don't like that. I want to get in there and sand. So we're back to the crutch tip again. There's a question here about where did I get that? Does Emma have a USA distributor? Yes, the walnut log, which I don't have a ready to go link for, but look it up online, the walnut log. And then I believe we have a Canadian distributor, Michael McEwen. Is that right, Michael? Go ahead and put your contact in the chat if you want to. So that's what you can do if you're in North America. Do I ever have finish come through with the vacuum chuck method? If I'm applying a wet finish while the piece is under vacuum, yes, it'll suck the finish or the dye or whatever it is I'm putting on there to some extent through the wood because wood is porous. Sometimes I can get away with it if the wall's thick enough. It won't suck maybe all the way through. But you've seen me doing, oh, I want my crutch tip. You've seen me doing dye when I had something on vacuum and it sucked part way through, but I usually don't use vacuum if I'm doing that. Oh, sorry, Michael, I was wrong. It's Easy Inlay that he has. So I'm pretty sure that Jeff will ship to Canada. Nobody in Canada. Somebody gonna step up here? I would recommend Emma. I would recommend contacting Stockroom Supply because they're good folks. All right. So first, now I'm ready to do my sanding here. I've been talking and talking, and and here we are at about the halfway point, and I had some stuff I wanted to mention here, which is some stuff, upcoming stuff, and I'm going to just turn my vacuum off because number one, it's on a jam chuck. Number two, I've got my crutch tip tailstock up. So here we are at the live stream, and I do this every 2 weeks on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 1800 UTC, and I believe it's 1700 in the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And you can use that QR code to subscribe. And when I say subscribe, I'm not like one of those YouTubers that goes smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. No, this is my newsletter where I'm going to send you email notifications of things such as the link to join this session and other things. And my good friend Todd, who is here today, if I can get that up, and can I do it this way? There we are.
There you go.
Todd also
Hello.
does the same thing.
Yeah, in fact, my regular time would be next week, but that's the Friday of SWAT. So it'll be a live view of SWAT, hopefully, if everything goes well. on Friday, and then so my next live one back in the studio would be the 5th of September, I think. So
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, so I didn't put a time on this slide here because we don't know when Todd's going to have a free moment, and it might not be 1 o'clock Central.
It may not be, but I think that is right between a rotation, so it might work out. So
yeah, and I'll be going around with my iPad doing some live streaming too with my shaky video and poor videography techniques, but it's all a ton of fun. Yeah, and so what else have we got here? I'm just going to use the.
I think we need to.
Where is it?
We need to make a call to action for all the people attending SWAT to talk to the board and have them bring Emma over.
Oh yes, definitely. And
next
here
year,
we have a link for sign up for SWAT. If you're not already registered for SWAT and you think you might be able to get to Waco, Texas by next Thursday or Friday. Is it Thursday? Do we open on?
Set up on Thursday for opening ceremonies Friday morning.
Do we open on Thursday at all, or
no? Well, there might be a few. You can sell on Thursday. There's no rotations.
Okay.
Opening ceremony is Friday morning.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
And if you, I just put the link in there, and so you can see us there. And here is SWAT. It's the 22nd through 24th. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's not Thursday, but if you are one of those people who wants to get the best selection, like if somebody's selling wood or whatever, go on Thursday. Oh, and here's Lyle Jameson. Lyle, why are you not in the studio? Oh, because you can't get in. You're not on the account. Anyway, Lyle, our good friend from Vendor Showcase, more on that in a minute, is going to be demonstrating. Yay! So I'll look forward to seeing Lyle. Hopefully Dory will be there. Hopefully OB will be there. It'll be lots of fun. And Chuck says you can check in on Thursday, which is why usually the vendors, if they're set up enough to take your money, are very happy to sell stuff on Thursday. Oh, no hotel rooms anywhere in Waco now. Anywhere? Even the outlying ones? Wow. Amazing. Yeah. So another thing happening, and this is after SWAT and after Todd's next live stream, Todd and I do a thing together, which is a sharing session on Zoom, where it's an opportunity for you to share tips like David shared with us today, or show a piece of your work, or ask a question. And there are links and ideas, and great stuff.
Yeah, they're lots of fun. Usually lasts about an hour. And join our newsletters. You get the Zoom link through our newsletters. And last time, Emma showed up, and that's where this collaborative came from. So don't know that we're going to do that again, but it was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, Emma's buying a ticket right now. You can see her browser open, and yeah. Oh, and also look for Emma teaching at Stu Batty's place. That's one of my slides coming up here.
Oh, nice.
But let's get back to stuff here. We'll bring those guys back up as we go. When we go to something. So I put Vendor Showcase here now. These events are not chronological order because Todd and I and Lyle, who's on here, Lyle, Dory, and Mike, are part of Vendor Showcase. Also, Steve Worcester, who is my favorite sandpaper supplier, and Joe Fleming, the airbrush guy. We do a Zoom meeting. Let's get our group up here again. Sorry, Emma. You could actually remove yourself if you don't want to be talking to everyone. See, she's on her phone buying a ticket to America. Yay!
I might be having a look.
Oh yes, oh yes. Anyhow, and Steve is here in the place. Steve, you can just jump in the studio if you want to. So if you're ready to,
Oh.
oh, I'm not finding, I can't invite him. Anyway, yeah, you could come in if you want, Steve, and we'll put you up here next to Emma. What I was saying was, it's a Zoom meeting, and we John Jordan, we still have him on here, but because he's big in our hearts, but he's not going to actually do any demos at the vendor showcase because he passed away. But we do small demos. Sometimes we do collaborations. We are going to have this Emma Todd Cindy collaboration auction to benefit whatever the charity turns out to be. So yeah, look for that. All completed and ready to go. It will also be at SWAT, but not auctioning. So yeah, vendor showcase is a loads of fun thing, and that is November 15th. So it's like the weekend or two before Thanksgiving, I believe. And will this work? Let's try it. I'm going to try something else. I'm trying to sort out this tech problem. I think it might be my double browser window being open that's causing trouble, because that didn't cause any trouble. We're not in chronological order here, and there we go again. But Rocky Mountain Woodturning Symposium is a few weeks after SWAT, almost a month after SWAT, and I'll be there. Todd sometimes goes there. We would love to have Emma there. If she gets that ticket sorted by September, hopefully she'll be there. It's an all-woman lineup, so yes, Emma should be there. Absolutely. I don't know why they didn't, what were they thinking? So maybe they just weren't thinking. And then soon after that, I am doing a hands-on boxes and finials class at Stuart Batty's place in Boulder. And this is the only place in the world that I do hands-on these days. So if you ever wanted to work with me and see how short I am in real life, you can go on Stu's website, and that will be right here in the comments, and sign up. It's not through me, it's through Stuart. So is that all we got? Well, that's kind of all we got, except that I want to make mention that I'm going to do a raffle here pretty soon today. And Steve is in the studio. Well, Steve, where are you? We'll put him on stage, and just for fun, we'll get Steve up here. There he is. Hi, Steve. Going to SWAT?
Howdy.
SWAT? No.
No.
Well,
We'll miss you.
we'll miss you. Yeah. But I can relate. I understand. More on that later. But yeah, great to see you. Steve is one of the vendor showcase people that I was talking about a minute ago. A little bit scatterbrained here. So thanks, Michael, but no. I burn myself out well and truly on that, and I have very
kudos to all the people that organize symposiums.
Yeah. Anyone who's running a symposium, any part of any symposium, my hat's off to you, because it's a ton of work and there are never enough volunteers. You get a lot of warm bodies to move the lathes on opening day, but there's all this background stuff for the whole year that's nobody ever notices. All right, so let's talk about a raffle here first. And Tim is wondering, when's the best time to replace your sandpaper? Well, that's a good question. My feeling about that, we're getting off the track here, but yes, my feeling about that is the best time to replace your sandpaper is when it's not performing like you think it should. And you can say, oh, I'll keep using it, but you're going to be losing time if you keep trying to sand with worn out sandpaper, and your tendency is to just keep building up heat. And I really don't think it's worthwhile. Why are these comments coming up? Are you doing that, Todd? Huh. I don't know.
No, not me.
Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on here in the studio. I must have my mouse hovering over something I don't realize it's hovering over. Anyway, yeah, where was I? I was talking about the raffle, wasn't I?
No, sandpaper.
I was talking about sandpaper, but I want to get on to the raffle. My answer to the question with sandpaper: replace it when it's not performing like you think it should, because it's a diminishing return to keep using dead sandpaper. And talk to Steve if you need sandpaper. By the way, here we have a link to turningwood.com, which is where you can get all the abrasive. Steve is an abrasive kind of a guy, and we love him anyway, but he has all the abrasives you need. And there's the link. So I want to talk about this raffle. I am going to be raffling off a ticket to this video on gilding mushroom boxes. Now, recently, it seems like yesterday, but I think it was 3 weeks ago, I did the third in my series of gilding IRDs. And what I did on that one was I made this gilded sea urchin box. Well, there goes its lid. So let's grab this one. And this is a metal leaf sea urchin. That other one is with Emma's chameleon flakes. It's got an insert for the box and a foot on the bottom that interlocks with the insert via a dowel. So the shell itself is not actually part of the structure. The shell itself is a little bit tight of a fit on this particular one, though. There we are. So I haven't glued it together yet, but so this was my third in the gilding series, and the mushrooms have gilding on the rim. So this is the method I use for gilding on a natural edge burl or on other kinds of textured surfaces like this rim, specifically about rims mainly. And here's a mushroom box with 24 karat gold on the rim, which is a technique I use quite often on my pieces. So we're going to give away tickets to this. That's not very effective, is it? This video. Before that, several months before, I did a gilded sphere box, and I don't have one of those to show you, but there's where I did a flat compound curved surface with gold leaf and flakes and mica powders and things. So I've kind of covered in those three the amount of gilding technique that I know much about. And yeah, you can win a ticket in the raffle, but you can also see how my tech is working today. You can also get, we'll just go do this manually. Go to my website. Oh, why did I get removed there? Don't get it. We'll try this and then this again. There we are. I gotta put a support ticket to StreamYard this time, I think. Anyway, you go to my website, and the place to find my previous IRD videos is where it says rent my instructional videos, and that'll take you to this page where I have some available. And don't be put off by the fact that it says the viewing date is ending, because really, I'm not going to take them down. I just have to say something. I can't say forever, because how do you define that? So basically, they'll probably be up till I die, or until Vimeo goes out of business, or my website gets canceled, or God knows what. But yeah, so that's where you can find it, and you just go to my home page. And I have some stuff on my home page too, like the Gilded Sea Urchin box and Cutting Threads is still on there. So yeah, so that's some stuff. And I am going to be giving away 2 access passes to the mushroom boxes video soon. But I want to talk about sanding, because that was the whole point here. Was I want to show a couple of sanding techniques. There we are on this piece here. What would I do to sand this surface here? I already sanded the bottom, but similar kind of stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do for sanding is I'm going to use my negative rake scraper. We'll turn on the vacuum pump. I'm going to use my negative rake scraper to smooth out the surface, because even though I did a really nice job with the gouge, it could use with a little final truing up, tuning up. This is my opportunity to really finesse the shape. And what I'm using here is my negative rake arc scraper. Also, this piece is a little bit out of true right now because it's been a few weeks. And if you did this right after you finished it, that wouldn't really be the case. So this is a double beveled negative rake scraper with a 50-degree included angle, and I sharpen it in the orientation I'm going to use it, so that I have a burr on the top side, and I'm doing the concave curve with this one. Comment from Steve: never had a piece run that true. Let's get me back here. Maybe StreamYard doesn't like my 2 browser windows open thing. Let's just go back to the old way and see what happens. The reason that piece is spinning true, it's not on a vacuum chuck, it's on a jam chuck assisted by vacuum. So jam chucks usually run true, except, yeah, well, this was kiln dried cabinet lumber, so it's going to be the best choice for being dry, of course, but even dry wood can move over time. So
Okay,
here's another negative rake scraper.
Holy moly. Okay, I missed it. What do you have on the live center there? It looks like a crutch tip. Is that what it is?
It's a crutch tip. It's a tip I got from somebody, no pun intended, long ago, that you can get one that fits over your 3/4 10. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is this convex area here, I couldn't reach with that scraper, but I can with this one. And right in that corner there is an almost impossible place to sand well. So I am going to, here's my strategy. And also I should mention what the problem is. The problem is that when you go to, let's say, power sand, and you're removing a bunch of material off of here, let's get the power sanding going, because that's what I'm going to do here. We'll slow the lathe down. We'll turn the dust collector on, and I've got a dust hood. I'm not sure if you can see it here. It's back here. It's not really in frame, but the dust collector's back there. And oh, let's just keep this right here. So hopefully you're not too blown out by the sound. So I have a Tim Skilton sanding pad, and these really are better. The foam on these, and maybe it's just my high ozone level climate at 5,000 feet, but this foam does not harden up and dry out and get crumbly like all the rest of them do. And I am going to, I've got, starting with 180 here. I don't need, oh, that's 240. It's 240. Starting with 240. And I'm going to turn my drill. See, the lathe is going this way, and the drill is going the other way. And I'm going to power sand here. And then when I get in here, I'm going to turn it around, I think. Turn it around. Turn it upside down. How do I get in there? Okay, so I can kind of sort of get in there, but I don't know if you see the problem. But what the problem is with this is that the pad isn't going to get all the way in there. So what happens is I'm removing a whole bunch of material almost up to that corner, because I'll go 240 and 400 and 600 and 1,000, and I'll end up making a little cove right there. So what I need to do is first, negative rake scraper made a very, very smooth surface. And you can see that it's very smooth. It doesn't need for me to start power sanding with 240. So what I'll do instead is I will get 400 and I'll fold the paper with the cut edges together, and I'll get right in here and I'll sand starting with 400. And then I'll get on the other side of that corner and sand right into the corner with 400. And then I'll do that with 600. And I'll probably try to go with the 600 out as far as I did the 400. But then when I go to do my power sanding, I will quit 400 right here. And then I'll go to 600 and get a little closer. And then I'll come back again with my 1,000 and do that with just a piece of sandpaper in my hand. This is how I do when I have a vessel with a collar on it that's built into the vessel, not an add-on, and I have the curve and the fillet, and I want a crisp shape in the corner. So if you look at this here, it's this corner I'm so keen to work on. Now I'm going to turn off my dust collector. By the way, with the dust collector, I'm always into gadgets and gizmos and things, and I have a remote for my dust collector, so I can turn it on and off right from the lathe. I just have it sitting over here. Great stuff. And I have one of those dust collectors that's outside and pipes running in the shop. So let's pretend we're done with our sanding, and I want to put a coat of finish on. So what I'll do for the finish is I will, I'm using that, let's see where it is here. I'm using this Murdoch's Uralkyd 500 on the bottom left there. And I have it in a stop-loss bag, which I labeled. so that it won't congeal, hopefully, in the container. And I'm going to pour a little bit into a jar. And this is my typical way of doing an oil finish on pretty much on anything. I always do put on gloves, even though I'm telling myself that I have a brush in my hand for application, and I'm going to use a rag in my hand for wiping it off. And when are my hands going to touch the stuff? Never. But you get it all over your hands anyway. So now I have a kind of just a cheap bristle brush, disposable. They're called chip brushes, and I will spread the finish on and saturate the surface. This is cherry, by the way. This wood. I'm going to put a full wet coat on, and you can see where there's end grain. It's soaking it up really fast. So maybe I didn't pour enough out there. Probably not, huh? Oh, okay. I also sometimes will use Minwax wipe-on poly, which is basically not oil at all. It's a thinned polyurethane. Sometimes I'll use that for my first coat because it soaks in really nicely. And I do need some more finish here because I've got the edge to do also. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I sign. And then we're going to do a raffle. Where do you get stop-loss bags? Well, you can get them from a number of places. Here is my edge. The Sutherland and Wells, or Sutherland Wells, that sells this finish, they have stop-loss bags. I've seen them at the places, online catalog places like Craft Supplies USA and Packard Woodworks. So, okay, I got my full wet coat on here. I'm going to give it a little time to cure, and then I'm going to wipe it off. Now I've got vacuum on, but the truth is I don't need it with this tailstock up. This is just a old t-shirt, and I'm going to get in the corner here with my fingernail and wipe it off. I already did the front side, or maybe I didn't. I might have to go back and do the front side. I'm talking about over here. Let's see if I can get closer. Right here on this rim. It looks like I didn't get that. I'll do that later. And we've got the tailstock up, so I don't really need that vacuum. And I've given you an overview, but I did not actually do all the work on this. I glossed over the sanding process pretty significantly because I did about 2 seconds worth of 240, and really I would have gone all the way through 240 and 400 and 600. And okay, you can get them at Amazon. Hi, Steve. Did you put yourself in there? Or is... Well, I don't get it about StreamYard today. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, Steve.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what I did.
I don't think you did anything. I think I've got StreamYard unhappy here. And unfortunately, I think it's because I've discovered something that made it easier to use, but I think it doesn't like that. So yeah, you can get stop loss from Amazon. Who else said there was a place you can get stop loss bags? David said Woodcraft. Okay. Yeah, good. And other places. So yeah, there. Oh, and if you're in Canada, Lee Valley has them. And they do seem to help a lot, keeping the finish from gelling up in the container. And yeah. All right. So I want to show my signing method. And then we're going to do our drawing. I'm just putting this up here as a place to have it and focus it. And I'm going to sign with this Dremel vibrating engraver, and then I'm going to fill the engraving with some gold material. So I think it's going to be a little difficult not to get the filler in those rings, and I could decide to fill them as an accent. So what I did here is I sealed the surface with 3 or 4 coats of that Sutherland Wells product that I just put on here. Scuffing between coats with 2000 or 4000 Abralon just to smooth out the knobbies. And now I'm going to do my signature. And I have it on the lowest setting. And, oh, are we not plugged in? Tech will always surprise you in so many ways. All right. So I'll start with my name. And Emma comes next. And Todd. I'm not putting our last name because there's not much room on here. Collab. $20.25. And there we have it. But you can't read it too well. Now, if I put some oil in the letters, because I have compressed the wood fibers and kind of opened up the end grain, it would brighten up. But what I want to do is put this gold on there. So we'll do that instead. So for the gold, I don't want to put any finish down. I want to seal it first, engrave, fill, and then I'll just deburr it, sand it smooth. So the end of this, as far in as we go. The exposed parts of this gold material, and here it is, hardens up. So I have to break off that crust. And that gets me to the soft material within. And I'm going to try to be pretty careful here with not getting it into those V grooves. I'm trying to be careful. Now, gold is not going to give me a huge contrast with cherry, really. I do have these in black, and they come in a bunch of primary colors and white and stuff like that. But despite the lack of contrast, I think gold looks great. there's something about gold anytime. So I am making an executive decision that gold is the good stuff. And then I'll take this 4,000 grit abrasive and just kind of deburr it. So now, it isn't as easy to read as one might want, but you can read it. We're calling it subtle is what we're calling it. But this piece looks great. We've got the top side finish done by Emma, the bottom side finish done by me. Oh, and there's something else I wanted to work on today, but I haven't gotten to it. So I'm going to have to do this on my own. The lid, Todd made the lid, and it really needs a few more coats of finish. And what it needs specifically is it needs to be vacuum chuck mounted so I can sand it a little bit and put more coats of finish on it, because he did it fast in the demo as well, and it really kind of needed more sanding. I doubt if Todd even sanded this at all. I think he probably just negative raked it and that was it. And it's got a little dome of opal inlay in the top, so very nice. And here's the top side, the profile. See, nice profile, eh? It's got the OG shape here. That's the same shape as Todd's lid. And so that came out looking really nice. Congratulations, everyone. We did an awesome job. And if you're going to SWAT, you can see this piece in person at SWAT. And I am now ready to do a raffle draw. Okay, so question, John, and if anyone else has a question, I'll go through some of these before I do the raffle. If you don't have a vacuum chuck, how do I consider coal jaws? Well, what I just had there was a vacuum assisted jam chuck. So I would personally jam chuck before coal jaws. And if it's a real large diameter, I would get a piece of MDF that was bigger than my bowl or platter, and I would jam chuck the rim into a recess. That's how I would. But personally, that's me, jam chucks. But could be that coal jaws would work. I just have never trusted them. So David uses masking tape. Oh yeah, that would be clever, wouldn't it? I could have masked off those grooves I was trying not to get any gold in. I managed to do it okay, but that would have been good. The finish is Sutherland Wells Murdoch's Uralkyd floor finish. And here it is on the bottom left there. That's the finish. Okay. And good point here, Marianne. Hanging the stop loss bag so that the finish stays liquid down and doesn't gum up the threads. And yeah, the threads will gum up. As soon as they gum up, then they strip out if you keep forcing them on. And then your stop loss bag doesn't seal very well, and it's not too good. So before y'all get all excited about making up your own code for the raffle, let me tell you what it is, because that's not it. Where are we? I was going through comment questions. I think we got them. I think we got all the questions. Oh, Wayne's got a suggestion for an adapter for the live center, and I could put my 4-jaw onto the tailstock and lightly expand the jaws. Okay, but I'm not a big one on expanding jaws. into anything. Or not that I don't like expanding. I don't like to touch a finished surface with jaws, period. I'm going to use a jam chuck long before I will use jaws on anything. Didn't I see? Okay, the Dremel engraver. Not that. Dremel engraver. I use the tip it comes with, which is a sharp point, and it's carbide tipped, and I may have sharpened it over the years, but I basically just use the sharp pointed tip it comes with. Okay, folks, don't be putting your comments in there because you don't have the right code. So stop and give me a second here, because here's what you're going to have to do for the raffle. Hashtag gilded mushroom. Okay? Hashtag gilded mushroom is the code. And anyone who entered a different code, you can go ahead and do it again now with the right code. Hashtag gilded mushroom, just like this or like this. You can all caps, you can all lowercase, no spaces, just got the hashtag. I wrote it with uppercase, lowercase, but all lowercase works. And we're just going to get rid of the comments. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for the raffle. Go ahead and get your gilded mushroom in. We're going to draw two. Was it gilded mushroom or gilded mushrooms? Oh man, I got to go check it now. Oh, now I canceled it. Darn. And we're going to have to do this over because I screwed up here. So if you entered the thing, you're going to have to do it again. I guess you can't go back in the StreamYard giveaway tool and try to figure out what you did for your hashtag. So here's what it is. Hashtag gilded mushroom, just like it says on the screen there. And I'll do the draw here pretty quick because we're actually over time, a little more than I want it to be. So we'll do this here. And we're going to give away 2 tickets to this video. So if you entered before, I apologize. I messed it up and you have to start over. You have to do it again. Hashtag gilded mushroom. And if you do have a question, I'm watching and I can answer a question too. And we're going to wrap it up right after this draw here. Looks like we have 90 entries. I see all these entries. There we go. See all these entries coming in. Keep going, keep going. When I see the entries slowing down, I will call it and do the draw. And don't forget, folks, about SWAT. And SWAT is in very short time. Oh, I don't have that. I don't have a really good way to display that, do I? Okay. So Misfit is asking about the faceplate, and there I have gone away. Where did I get the faceplate? I bought those a long time ago, and it's basically washer welded to a nut, and somebody was selling those long ago. So I suspect you probably can't get them anymore. Wow, every time I click on a comment, it takes my video out. That is so strange. All right, are we ready? Are we ready? I think we're ready. We're going to do 2 draws. So get your name in the draw there. And if you miss the first one, you're in for the second one. So we're going to draw here for a ticket to access my gilded mushroom box boxes video. There we go. There we go. Good luck, everyone. And you should be still entering in here, and I'll draw again. Yay, Jerry Bochenek. Thank you for entering, everyone. And congratulations, Jerry. Cool stuff. All right, so we got one more. And I'm going to do this again. Draw again. If you entered before, you're still entered. So let's draw another one. One more chance to win here. And there's always a chance to win. Everybody who comes to my live stream is a winner. Congratulations, William Smith. You are a double winner today. And thank you all so much for being here. And congratulations to our winners, William and Jerry. I'll see y'all at SWAT. I got lots of grinding to do before I can leave. And I've only got a few days to do it. So, yeah, Kurt, look forward to seeing you at SWAT. Wow, my video didn't disappear. Oh, I guess it didn't. Oh, yes, let me get rid of that banner, because if you're still entering, it's the entries. I'm done with the draw, so that's not anything more. And Ian, oh, I wish we were going to see you here on this side of the ditch this year. He sometimes comes to Rocky Mountain. That'll be great. All right, and Emma, yes, we're expecting to see you. Let's put all 3 or 4 or however many people are up here. Can we do it? Can I manage it? There we are. Did Emma leave? Where is Emma? There she is. Well, from all 3 of us, the wonderful collaborators.
Yay.
Yay.
Good stuff.
We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.